Hey, I'm Emma Taylor. I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Congratulations on your new single. As you saw on the email, I love your voice. It was like instant. Talk to me about Major Bed and what kind of really inspired a track so vulnerable like this one.
Thank you, first of all. So basically, my previous singles and my previous songs, a lot of the themes have kind of been similar about, being in a relationship and just knowing it's not going to work, but staying with them anyways. So I kind of wanted to do a little twist on this one where it's like you're still in a bad relationship, but you hold that person accountable instead of letting it slide. So I took the popular saying major bed to lie in it and kind of made that the overall, phrase and inspiration for the song. And it's just about holding someone that you love accountable for their actions and letting them know that what they're doing is hurting you. And if they love you, then they should probably not do that. But yeah.
Was the title of the song what pretty much kickstarted the song?
Well, I actually wrote it just first verse first, and then the whole "You Made Your Bed So Lie in It" kind of just flowed naturally. It was almost like a placeholder at the beginning because I was just, when I write it, it flows really quickly, so I just wrote that down kind of suddenly, and then I couldn't get it out of my head, so I just kept going with it, and then I was like, this makes perfect sense. So that's, what ended up kind of inspiring the song, but it all just flowed so well together that it seemed like there was no other saying that could be any better than that because it was just perfect for what I was trying to get across, and everyone knows it and hears it, but I haven't heard many songs that use that phrase as the main phrase, so I was excited to use it and have some fun with it.
And there's so many things that I loved about the track just from the first listen. First of all, obviously your voice. Second of all, the vulnerability that you feel coming out of you. And then third of all, the mixture of the piano and the strings. And I feel like you also added some kind of cello as well. What was this all your idea during the writing process to have this kind of sound in the background of the lyrics, or was this something that you and the producer kind of teamed up with?
Well, as for vulnerability, that's a huge part of my artistry. I try to make all my songs, they all come from my heart, and they're not all about me personally, but they're either about my surroundings or people I know or things like that. So all the things that I'm writing about are so real. So vulnerability to me is my number one goal. If that gets across to anyone, which clearly it does, that's amazing for me. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I mean, I'm just honest with my lyrics, whether or not they're I don't care if they're happy or sad. I lean towards more sad girl music just because I feel like it's a beautiful thing to talk about sadness and to show that to the world. But they're all on it, so I love that you say that it's a vulnerable song because I feel that. And another way I try to get that across is by making my songs very simple, but then adding things like the strings and piano and stuff like that to really just make it dramatic and very authentic. As for the whole production, I work with my boyfriend. His name's Adrian Coda. We are a team. We've done every one of my records together. So he has a huge understanding for what I want. He knows my sound so well, which I'm really lucky about. And most of my singles in the past have been just guitar based. And this one was piano based, which I was really excited about just because I feel something about a piano and vocals is just so vulnerable. Guitar and vocals are vulnerable too, but you could be so much more dramatic with piano, which was really exciting to me. So I showed him the song, and he really, really liked it. And we just knew we wanted to do something a little different with the production this time because the song is a little different than what I've been putting out before. It's more dramatic, it's just more dramatic, I would say, and more intense, I guess. but in a cool way. I feel like it definitely captures your attention, I hope. So we knew we wanted to try something different, and he came up with the really cool second verse where it like changes into the dramatic like cello and strings and no more piano for that part. So when I heard that, I loved it. And he's amazing at doing like, you know, adding really amazing sounds, but not overdoing it, not overproducing. He like always puts just the perfect touch of, you know, you don't want to go too overboard sometimes with sounds. You want, like, we really try to let the song speak for itself. And I think that's really important. So I don't like adding too much so that, you know, the lyrics get hidden by production. But I think we captured a perfect sound for it. And, you know, the melodies and the production goes on a journey as well as the story. So I wanted both of them to just ride the wave together.
I feel like a lot of these songs that are more simpler, like yours, are the ones that kind of impact a lot more. Do you feel like when a song is simpler, do you feel like it's harder for you to kind of be more honest and open up more to your audience?
I would say no, just because I always write my songs vocals and guitar or vocals and piano. So for me, like, I know my song's going to be a good one if I get moved by it just with the guitar and the vocals. So, like, I think writing simple is really, really difficult, and it definitely puts more pressure on me to get, you know, good lyrics and a good story, because I don't really have anything in the background to, like, you know, hide behind.
Right.
But I think that I love, you know, keeping it simple, because it definitely just showcases what I want. And as an artist, I really try to get my story heard, and I really put a huge emphasis on my lyrics. But I think that for this song in particular, like, me and my producer, as I said, like, we knew that we wanted it to have a huge focus on the lyrics and the drama, and just do like less is more kind of approach. But as for like when I listen to music, I gravitate towards very simple music. I love just like acoustic based music. So that just could be like a personal preference. But I love like having, you know, like even Adele songs and stuff like that really resonate with me, because if a song's great with just vocals and guitar, vocals and piano, like imagine what it could be like when it's a little more produced.
I was listening to your older material, and it, you know, it is different from what you released with this track. So are you testing the waters with different sounds, different styles with your music, or are you kind of going away from that original sound and kind of discovering something new for yourself? What's going on with your music?
Yeah, totally. I think that I'm definitely at the phase in my artistic journey where every song I'm writing is new and different to my previous song, which is great. I love, you know, my old stuff, but I definitely feel like I'm ready to like experiment more. And I feel like even this song is a huge, you know, it shows that I'm trying to experiment more and being influenced by other artists and other sounds. So I always write, like I said, like my writing process and my songs, like the way I write it will always be the same. But I think now more than ever, like, is the time I should be experimenting and, you know, doing things that are out of the box for me and out of my comfort zone, which is hard to do. Like, not gonna lie, it's easy for me to just like stay in my little shell and be like, no, I don't want to venture out and do more different things. And my songs are always gonna be like heavily acoustic based. I don't think I'm ever gonna be one of those artists that like totally changes genres, just because this has been like a statement since the beginning that I've always been like diehard acoustic, like indie singer-songwriter. But I think it's cool. It's a very broad genre, so I have the ability to put a little twist on it and add different things that no one has heard of, and that's what I'm really trying to do. So I think, you know, with my newer songs that are coming out, I want to use different instruments, and I've been trying to do, you know, different just lyrical styles or different melodies so that my songs don't sound the same, because that's also something I get nervous of because I'm so heavily acoustic based. I don't want to be the artist that all their songs are the same but different. So yeah.
Now that Made Your Bed is out, what's next for you? What do the next couple months look like? Are you working on a body of work, or are you kind of doing the singles game, or are you going to let this one, live out as long as possible and then release something else later? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, so I mean, I am definitely working on like a body of work is the goal. I want to put out an EP with a few songs, but I'm also gonna release them through singles first, a few of them, and then probably put out a body of work later in the year. That's an EP or an album, whatever that may be. But this song is so special to me, and it's my favorite one I've ever put out that I really want to try to like let the world hear it and let it marinate for a little bit before I release something else. But of course, like with Corona and everything going on, everything's so up in the air.
Right.
So I don't know what's gonna happen, but the thing that I can control is putting out music and writing music. So I'm definitely gonna take advantage of that. And I feel like now more than ever, people are very are willing to listen and willing to digest music that they don't normally digest. So I'm hoping to take this time to really put out music that I'm proud of, and hopefully people will love it and join me on this journey that I'm on. And eventually, like towards the end of the year, I'd love to put out an EP. But definitely just writing, releasing music, probably a few more singles, and then an EP eventually.